Pro Football Focus has put out its list of the top 50 players in the NFL. Now, I'm going down the list a little bit here. And I agree with a lot of the names that are in here. I was surprised at a few names that were in here, some a little too high, some a little too low. I have a real problem with Josh Allen being the 40th best. But I want to have some context here because we're all about context. Steve Palazzolo, Pro Football Focus, senior analyst, host of Pro Football Focus, the NFL podcast. All right. Give me context here, Steve, of how you came up with the 50 best players in the NFL.
Yeah, the context behind it is essentially all positions are created equal just for this exercise. We're not worried about positional values. You know, obviously, if we were, it'd be all quarterbacks and that'd be it. So that's the first step. And then it's looking forward. It's looking to 2021. So it's taking not just last year, but, multiple years of information and then saying, okay, who are the best players going forward based off everything we know, and again, not worried too much about the quarterback being the most valuable player on the field.
Okay, what makes Aaron Donald number one on the list?
We grade every player on every play, Dan, and he is just dominant, from a pass rushing standpoint, from a run defense standpoint, and it's been like that for, since he entered the league. He's been the highest graded interior defensive lineman every year since his rookie season. And he just does it all. And it's one of those things that shows up when he plays 800, 900 snaps. It shows up more than just sack totals and tackle numbers. He's just the most unblockable player that we've ever seen, really, in the PFF era.
Then you have Patrick Mahomes, 2, Travis Kelce, 3, Quentin Nelson, 4, Devontae Adams, 5, Khalil Mack is 6, Tom Brady, 7, Bobby Wagner, 8, George Kittle, 9, Aaron Rodgers, 10. I can't put Brady that high. Wagner I like, but, like Khalil Mack, they're not playing in really meaningful games. Give me your rationale.
Yeah, so with Brady, he was our number 2 graded quarterback last year. Now, it was behind Aaron Rodgers, but again, we're taking body of work. So until Brady really shows physical decline, he's our highest graded quarterback, not only, of the PFF era, but of the last 4 years, of the last 5 years. So we gave Brady the nod there.
Okay.
With Wagner, it's really a tough time for linebackers in the NFL. Offensive coordinators are just attacking linebackers. Everything that they're spending right now, this entire offseason, thinking of ways to make Bobby Wagner and other linebackers' lives miserable. But Wagner has been the clear top linebacker in the league since Luke Kuechly retired. And a guy like Khalil Mack is similar to Aaron Donald. It's just the down-to-down consistency. The sack totals might fluctuate a little bit, but as far as just winning one-on-ones and being a force in the run game, that's where Khalil Mack shines every year.
Give me your biggest surprise.
It's Bryce Callahan. Does anybody know Bryce Callahan here? The cornerback for the Denver Broncos. Look, so early PFF era, we did this we started this in 2008, and Chris Harris of the Broncos was like the first guy where we kept grading him well, and people started to catch on. Maybe this guy's pretty good. Bryce Callahan could be that next guy. He has graded well with the Chicago Bears, with the Denver Broncos. He's done it in the slot. He's done it outside. He's only 5'9", 188. He shouldn't be that good, but we grade production, and he's just been really productive every time he's been on the field.
The one that stood out more than anything else is Josh Allen is 40 on this list, and I don't think anybody was more valuable to their team last year than Josh Allen was. What am I not seeing?
He was fantastic last year. Again, I think you just have to take the entire body of work. So if you look at Josh Allen, he was average to below average his first 2 years. Last year was a legitimate breakout season. So the fact that he's even on the list after being a below average quarterback, probably the 28th, 30th best quarterback his first 2 years in the league. I mean, I think that's just a testament to how much he's grown in the short area, intermediate area. His accuracy, decision-making has gotten better. So look, Allen was fantastic last year. I just think let's see it for one more year. Is he going to regress a little bit, or is he there? Is he an official superstar? And if he is, he'll be in that top 10 to 20 range probably next year.
You got Dak Prescott at 50. Is that higher than you thought? Lower than you thought?
Honestly, I think it was close between Dak, between Lamar Jackson. If another quarterback didn't land on the list, I wouldn't have been all that upset. I think there's a cutoff between the Mahomes, Brady's, Rodgers, and Russell Wilsons of the world, and then again Josh Allen kind of in that gray area. I think it is a big year for Lamar to maybe, get back to that MVP caliber self. But with Dak, I think what we've seen is he's played, when he's been on the field the last 2 years, the best football of his career, trending in the right direction. I think we saw how valuable he was for the Cowboys last year after he went down. So a lot of things for Dak pointing toward him moving in the right direction to be that top 7 or 8 quarterback moving forward.
And this is based on a body of work.
Yeah.
So if it was just based off of last year, how different would this list be?
Yeah, and so we do a list, at the end of the season that is just looking back. It's like, we do a top 101, and it's just the 2020 season. Josh Allen would be much higher. So Dak obviously wouldn't be on the list. He only played the 6 games. So, multiple year sample sizes do matter, right? In the way a guy's trending, or but also not overweighing too much of 1 year. So I think there's a lot of guys on this list where it's like, hey, just prove it for one more year, and then you might be moving up the list for next year.
Yeah, I love Quentin Nelson, and I thought that would have been enough for Andrew Luck to stay. But it feels like Quentin Nelson's going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's funny because as soon as he came out, so because we do, some analytics and we grade tape, we have a little battles with the offensive line community that thinks, maybe you don't know exactly what the offensive line's doing. Quentin Nelson's the one who kind of like brings us together. The offensive line gurus love him. The analytics love him. He grades well. He finishes plays. He was outstanding at Notre Dame. Yeah, he is on a Hall of Fame track. He's been the highest graded guard since entering the league in his 3 years.
If we looked at this right now of guys who are Hall of Famers right now, is Aaron Donald a Hall of Famer, yes or no? Right now?
Yes, absolutely.
Patrick Mahomes?
Yes, he will be.
No,
yes.
Right now.
Oh, right now? I think Mahomes is already, yeah. He's been a star.
I'd say no. Travis Kelce?
I think Kelce is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quentin Nelson?
You can't say now for only 3 years for a guard. I would say no right now.
Okay. Devontae Adams?
I'd say no right now. There's too many good receivers in this era.
Khalil Mack?
I think Mack is. Yeah, we've got big body of work.
Bobby Wagner?
Yes. Him and Kuechly are the 2 best linebackers of their era.
Zach Martin?
Not yet. No.
DeAndre Hopkins?
Oh man, all the receivers are tough, man. There's so many productive receivers, right? How do you separate those? I don't know if Hopkins actually is.
Now, are we using opinions or calculations when you're coming up with these lists?
Yeah, so it's based off, again, we grade every player on every play. We put a grade out there. We can look at 1 year grades, multi-year grades. It's not automated, but it's using that as a foundation. And then there's a little bit of intelligence that goes into, how are guys used? How often have they been on the field? So it's based off PFF grades with a little bit of our own intelligence over the top when putting the list together.
Give me your top 3 most talented teams right now.
Well, the Bucs and Chiefs definitely have to be up there. And then the Cleveland Browns are up there. When you talk about just pure roster management, the Cleveland Browns have done incredible work. Offensive line's outstanding, good group of playmakers. They've rebuilt that secondary, which really hurt them last year. The Browns have very few weaknesses as a roster. The Bucs are clearly in their own, realm as far as they don't have any weaknesses. They're running it back from the Super Bowl year. The Chiefs are a little top heavy with their stars, of course, with Mahomes, Kelce, and Tyreek Hill. But the Browns are one of those teams that's just so good all around and one of the most talented in the NFL.
The least talented team in the NFL is?
I think the Texans, the Houston Texans, Detroit Lions are battling for that. They're both rebuilding.
So they should trade Deshaun Watson if they can.
Based off all the moves they made this offseason, yes. I mean, the Texans are 2 years removed from being a playoff team. Last year they fell apart because the defense was horrible. And yes, they should definitely, they're in full rebuild mode in Houston, and they signed about, 20, mid-tier type of free agents this offseason. So it looks like more of an expansion team in Houston right now.
Where do you rank Kirk Cousins?
I rank a lot of quarterbacks in that middle tier, and it's kind of like the old number 3 starter in baseball. A guy that eats up a lot of innings, and 1 year he can win 15 games, another year he can win 10. I think with Cousins and a lot of the mid-tier quarterbacks, when you get that good group of receivers, when you get that good offensive line, they'll produce. And Cousins has always had a nice group of receivers, so he'll produce at a top 10 type of level statistically, but I don't think you're asking Kirk Cousins to go and carry your team like you are some of those top tier quarterbacks. So he's in that middle tier, like I think maybe 10 to 12, 15 other quarterbacks are.
Being a former minor league pitcher, I'm curious what you think of spider tack and all of the substances. How did you cheat is what I want to know, Steve, when you were in the minor leagues.
I did not cheat enough because I didn't make it out of the minors, Dan. I mean, I hated having any sticky substances on my fingers. I hated it. I thought it was just a little bit of help for grip that guys used it for. And then I didn't realize it was an increase in spin rates and all that stuff. So I consider it a missed opportunity. A good scuffed ball was nice, though, for me because it was good for my splitter. You get a little crazy movement on that if you get a nice scuffed ball. Not that I ever did that intentionally.
But who scuffs it?
It's more of a luck thing. Like if I wanted to cheat, you throw a little sandpaper in there, but every now and again, the umpire keeps a scuffed ball in there and you get it and you just put it in the right spot to get that extra movement.
But a catcher can help you. Your third baseman could help you, right?
Yeah. You get some of that. I never intentionally did that, which is why I never made it. But yeah, if you want to scuff, you talk to the right people.
The statute of limitations is up, Steve. You're good. You can tell us how you were cheating.
True. Not enough, again, apparently. I didn't, man, the spider tack stuff. I want to go throw right now.
Yeah, I know.
See what it looks like.
I know. Hey, great to talk to you again. Thanks for joining us. We love the work that Pro Football Focus does. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Dan.
Steve Palazzolo, a former minor league pitcher and apparently an accidental cheater.